So today we're going to be talking about topic 8-2, which just talks about comparing and ordering integers. Yesterday, or in the last video, we talked about what integers were. They are a whole number that's either positive, negative, or zero. Okay, and it cannot be a fraction that is not an integer. So let's get started with something to kind of think about before we take notes. The world's top 4 video game players square off in a new game called Zombie Pretzel Attack 2. I might enjoy this kind of game. So you have to drag the final scores to rank the players. Explain how you decided. So you need to put the first, second, third, and fourth pretzel according to the largest number to the smallest number to see which player made the most points. Okay? Take your time, and when you finish, you don't write this down, but when you finish, go ahead and get your neighbor to check it and see if they got it right too. If y'all didn't get the same answer, talk about what you guys got and see which one will be the correct one. Alright, so whenever you see copy this in your notebook, it means copy this in your notebook. Some of them will say think about it, so you won't have to copy those down. Just copy this. So remember the symbol that means greater than and the symbol that means less than. On a number line, the number increases from left to right. So if A is if A is larger than B, then A is going to be to the right of B on a number line. Doesn't mean it's going to be always on the positive side. It just means somewhere on the number line, if a number is towards the right of another number, it's going to be bigger. So let's say that B was negative 10 and A was negative 2. Well, since 2 is to the right of negative 10, negative 2 would be a larger number. Okay? That's what it's actually saying. You do want to copy the number lines as well to make sure you have a full understanding, and it also gives you a better reference to come back to. The next one, if C is smaller than B, then C is going to be to the left. So if it's larger, it's on the right. If it's smaller, it's on the left. This counts for both positive and negative numbers, guys. Okay? Always, 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 if on a number line, the number is towards the right, it's going to be bigger. Cool? So go ahead and copy all this into your notebook. And then when you finish, go ahead and move on to the next slide. All right, so right below where you just talked about greater than and less than signs, I want you to copy down A through F and figure out which symbol goes into the blanks. So here are your symbols right up here. You have the less than and greater than. You're going to put those, obviously, in the blanks that you see here, okay? Just put this below the last slide, so that way you have a little bit of a visual reference to your work. And I can give you an example of what you're supposed to do in case you're kind of confused. So let's try, I have the hiccups really bad. Let's try 2 and negative 1. I'm going to put 0 in the middle. 2 is like right here. And it's going to be on the right side of 0 because it's a positive number. And negative 1 is on the left side. So, since 2 is towards the right, in the right direction from negative 1, 2 is going to be larger. Okay? That's what you're going to be doing. You don't have to make a number line, but I like to do it just to give myself an actual visual and a better idea of what I'm doing, okay? If you need to pause the video, go ahead and pause it. Oh, also go ahead and copy this one down too. What symbol correctly completes the statement? Really easy, just like what you did for A through F. Go ahead and copy that one down as well. Okay, so this one says think about it, which means you do not have to copy it down. During January in Montreal, Canada, the temperature at 1 p.m. was negative 8 degrees Celsius. The temperature at 11 p.m. was negative 12 degrees Celsius. Write inequality to compare compare the two temperatures. When was it warmer? So I remember when I taught second grade, we taught if the number is further away from 0, it's going to be larger. Well, that's not the case anymore. It's if the number is furthest to the left, it's going to be smaller, and furthest to the right, it's going to be larger. So let's make a number line with negative 12 points. I'm going to move my 0 over here so I have room for negative numbers. Let's make it green. Let's still fill in Christmassy. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay? So according to this line, which number is larger? We just talked about in which direction tells you the larger number. So think about it, and when you figure out which one's larger, go ahead and raise your hand, or you can tell a neighbor and see if they got it right as well. You don't have to get a teacher to check it because you're not going to write it down. But tell your neighbor and see if they got the same idea as you. Okay? All right, here's another copy of this in your notebook. So this is another temperature one. The temperature at the start of a cross-country ski race was negative 8 degrees Celsius. The temperature at the end of the race was negative 2 degrees Celsius. Write an inequality, compare the temperatures. When was it colder? Okay, so here are your answer choices, A through D. You have to figure out when was it colder, and you got to figure out, you also have to figure out when it was colder. So you don't have to write down all A through D, you just have to write down which one was correct. You do also have to copy the entire scenario down. So copy down this, and then copy down your answer, okay? When you figure out what the answer is, have a teacher come by and check it to make sure you got it right. I don't want this one to be a think about it, because this is very similar to what you're going to see on the homework. I actually went to the homework page and found this scenario. So copy this one in your notebook too. Alright? So, Wednesday at noon, the temperature was 13 degrees below 0. Saturday at noon, the temperature was 11 degrees above 0. Find two integers for this situation. Write an inequality to compare the integers. On which day was it colder? So I want you to use pencil and paper to describe two ways by which you can reach your conclusion. You don't have to describe two ways, but I do want you to copy down the reasoning, the whole situation. And I want you to write a number line. So we have 13 degrees below 0, and we have 11 degrees above 0. So I'm going to make a really big number line because my writing utensil writes kind of large. So I'll make negative 13 down here. Let's make that blue instead of black. Okay, and then we'll make positive 11 up here. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, it's a little bit off, but we get it. So, according to our number line, and according to our question here, we are looking for the number that is, go back. We're looking for the number that is colder, okay? And we've been talking about temperature for a few years now, so we can use common reasoning and think, well, 13 degrees below 0 is going to be way colder than 11 degrees above 0. 11 degrees is still pretty cold, but it's nowhere near as cold as negative 13, okay? So that's one way to think about it. The other way to think about it would be the number line. We know that colder is going to be going down, temperature is going to be going down. So if it is negative 13 degrees, the number line, if it goes to the left, means it's going down. Negative 13 is a lot lower than positive 11. So if it's going towards the left, it's going to be a lot smaller. lot more miserable. Alright, so copy that all down in your notebook, including an underline, please. Alright, so here's another scenario. This one you just have to think about, you don't have to copy it down. Roberto and Gianna, or Gian, I guess is how you would say it, played a new computer game. The game was more difficult than they expected. Roberto's final score was negative 220. Ooh, that's not good. Negative 220 points. Ooh, nice work, Pen. Gian's final score was negative 80. Write an inequality to compare these two scores. Who has the higher final score? Well, we know that if you were to make a number line that goes all the way to 220, that 220 will be further left on that number line. Okay? So I want you to figure out what the correct answer would be. And when you figure it out, talk with your neighbor and see if they got the same answer. If they did not get the same answer as you, figure out which one would be correct. Okay? I think that's all of it. Yeah, because we've already done this one. So go ahead and make sure all your notes are in your notebook. Have a teacher check it to make sure it's all done. Again, you don't have to do this one because you've already done this one before. So you can go ahead and get started on digits. Good luck on your assignments and have a wonderful afternoon.